what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy. So yesterday, Maason Smith announces on Twitter that he will be foregoing his next year of college eligibility, and he's declaring for the NFL draft. This leaves LSU with very little to no defensive tackles left on the roster whatsoever. That is a position that you're going to have to try to address and make the most of in the portal. I think those are the two silos to this conversation. One, what does this do for the roster moving forward? And two, how do we interpret this decision from Maason Smith, and is it the correct decision? Yeah, and look, to be clear, just I don't think this needs to be said, but I'll preface it anyway. Everybody's got to make decisions based on what they think is best for themselves, right? So as we discuss this, we are just applying an outside view, looking in, and if somebody wants to bet on themselves, you just can never, like that. That's their prerogative. That's their right? I mean, yeah. I always think about Trey Turner when he left early, offensive lineman from LSU, and everybody's like, why the hell is he leaving? And he said, because I'm going to run a sub 540. And I'm going to get drafted, and then I'm going to play well. And, well, all of those things ended up happening, right? So sometimes guys bet on themselves. Playing. Yeah, exactly. So, so the point of this is like, I think you get what I'm getting at, right? I don't know if this is the best thing for Maason Smith's career. I don't think he's ready for the NFL. Like, I think he really could have used another year of coaching with actual good, consistent, solid, daily coaching to get more ready for the NFL and give himself a better shot at making it. Because that's the thing. You get your one opportunity. Like, if you don't make it, well, then I guess now you have the UFL that you could potentially fall back on. And in theory, you could climb back up out of there. But that's just so incredibly rare. I mean, if you just watch his, like, he obviously has the physical size, and you think he has the size and athletic potential there to be a legitimate NFL player. But the film that you saw this last year with high play, sticky play, is not someone who looks like they are ready. And to be clear, I think he was hurt portions of the season, and then he got healthier, then he got better at the end. And I also think, again, I keep going back to it, right? I think coaching did him wrong. And we can look back at his career, and I think the numbers kind of support that. And, I mean, even in this letter, he's referencing the huge jump up in technique and coaching that he learned at Pete Jenkins' feet. But Pete Jenkins is 80 and came in the middle of the season and was there for a few weeks. Like, what could you do? How could you grow? Getting another year of NIL money so you're financially taken care of, and then you improve your technique, you improve your stock, and you put yourself in a better position to try to make the NFL. Because if you swing and miss, again, there's no guarantee that you get a second swing. And it's really tough. Guys have ended their careers leaving too early when they had NFL potential, but they tried to force the issue. So, again, like I said, bet on yourself. Hell yeah, go do it, man. And I hope he makes it in the NFL. Obviously, I want everybody to succeed. But it feels risky to me.
Me as well. And this is someone that we know has a lot of talent. This is somebody that came into LSU with a lot of fanfare, and then his freshman year, I was like, all right, he's going to live up to every single bit of that. And then he has the devastating injury. And look, he meant so much to his team that they were potentially trying to move games so he could be eligible for the Florida State game, right? That's what we heard at the beginning of this season. This season did not go his way, and for a lot of reasons. Obviously, not having a position coach, that is tough. And some of it has to fall on that. Some of it has to fall at his feet, and he knows that. In his heart of hearts, if you talk to him, I mean, Mason's a very competitive human being. He would tell you that. It's a curious case for me because you are one of the biggest faces in the NIL space for LSU. I mean, I see a billboard every single day when I drive in to work that has Maason Smith and just Maason Smith on it. Nobody else, right? And so you were doing well in that space. You would have done well in that space again this year. You have a new defensive coordinator in Blake Baker that I think a lot of people are excited about and should be excited about. And also when I look at and this isn't to say all be all, but when I look at Mel Kiper's position rankings, there's 12 defensive tackles listed. Maason Smith's not one of them. When you get to like defensive tackle 9, 10, 11, 12, we're talking about 4th, 5th, 6th round. Now, Maason Smith is somebody that is a physical freak. He can go somewhere and he can test probably through the roof.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a lot of people walking this earth, and I mean that in a good way for him.
Yeah.
So he can go up those boards, but how much can he go up those boards? And if you come back and you have a really solid year, then you probably put yourself into the category of being a top 3 defensive tackle, because I think you're that talented. And we have seen a lot of LSU players in the history of LSU football leave early and it not be the best decision. Now, there's others, and you mentioned one of them with Turner, that ended up working out well for him.
Yeah.
This is a player that I fully expected to be back. I think he could really learn a lot in another college football season, because you had your freshman year, you were great. Certainly for a freshman.
Let's go through that real quick. His career flow, because I think that weighs in on the conversation. So as a freshman, remember, in just 9 games, he made himself into a freshman All-American. In 22-1, he had 19 tackles, 5 TFLs, 4 sacks in 9 games. That's very good as a true freshman. Then he looks incredible the first 2 plays of the Florida State game, and that's when he was just absolutely wrecking shop in camp. Obviously, freshman year, he's learning at the feet of Ed Ogeron, one of the most legendary defensive line coaches in college football history. And so he looks like he is ready to go in 22. He gets hurt. And that's his first ever major injury, which you never know how guys respond to their first ever major injury. And then he's dealt the bit unlucky hand of getting hurt and having to kind of relearn the position and refine himself, and just having, I think, objectively subpar coaching to try to find his way. Again, if we see so much talent underperforming on the defense, I think you lay it at the coach's feet. And so then he comes back this year in 12 games, 28 tackles, 4.5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. So you're telling me he played 3 more games with 2 more years of age, maturity, and experience, and yet had less TFLs and less sacks.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of meat left on that bone. And maybe that's why he's doing this, because the NFL will see that as well, and maybe somebody will. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, William Anthony's like, the NFL decides he'll be like a 3rd or 4th round pick. Like, is that right? 3rd or 4th round? Like, no way. I mean, aren't we talking like potentially? Well, I don't know. We'll see. But like, the play would dictate like UDFA or like 6'7", maybe a flyer.
Yeah, the play would be exactly what you're talking about. Like the size, yes, that goes a long way, but also you had to test through the roof, I think, for that to happen. What we're talking about, like third round situation, like they don't just throw 3rd round picks at
high
potential.
If 3rd round feels low to us on the outside looking in,
that feels incredibly high to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you really appreciate how high it is to be a 3rd round pick in the NFL draft.
3rd round pick, you're supposed to be a starter.
Yeah.
Regardless of position, maybe outside of quarterback, you're supposed to be a starter. So, and remember, like Maason would have 2 years left. He could come play this year and then the next year. Because freshman year, redshirt year, gets hurt in the first game, played last year. So he would only be a redshirt junior coming into this year. So he had multiple years where he could have worked on his craft. And that's what makes it even more head-scratching for me, because you have the ability to bet on yourself like for 2 more years in college as well. Let's say you take a big step this next year, and then you have like a real decision to make, like, oh, man, I could be a 1st rounder or a 2nd rounder. Let me come back, or let me go ahead and go in the 2nd round. He had 2 years to play with, not just 1. That's what makes this even more interesting, in the fact that you could make the argument if he had just 1 T, yeah, but what if he has kind of the same season? Or what if he doesn't even play as well as he played last season? We can have that combo. But when you have 2 years left, you feel like you can get a lot done there, certainly with the defensive staff and situation improving in Baton Rouge.
Again, and it's just so different nowadays that the financial incentive is removed. Yeah. Like, I to Jake's point, I would argue that he is engaging in literal financial risk with this decision versus the stability of continuing to make money through NIL and then hopefully improving and kind of solidifying his NFL draft potential. Because when it comes to the NFL, the higher you are picked, the more the better chance you have of getting kept. Oh, like regardless of play. Now, obviously, the best run organizations, the best run players will win, but I mean, it's just human nature. You invest in something you need to make it work.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're a UDFA, you are completely expendable. If you're a 5th round pick, you're pretty damn expendable. Yeah. 3rd round, okay, now, like Jake said, we're going to give you some rope.
You're going to make
round,
the team.
You're on it no matter what. 2nd round, you're on it no matter what. And so we live in just a completely opposite way where this isn't, like back in the day, you make the decision and it's to go make money. And that's very easy to understand. I think you're actually betting, and you're betting on yourself, so good on you. But I think this is a risky financial decision, arguably.
Yeah, because of everything you just laid out there. It's not the same situation as all of us kind of grew up in. And, hey, gosh, I know it's not going to be the best money. I'll give you a quick story. We had a guy running back from SMU. He was a really good player. He was a junior. If he would have come back his senior year, he would have definitely been a draft choice, without question. He came out after his junior year because his family just didn't have any money.
Yeah.
His family, like he said it, like he's like, hey, my family right now can't pay their rent and they're living paycheck to paycheck and barely at that. He said, so me coming in and making the practice squad, that changed my mom and dad's life, right? And that's real. Like that was real then.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any other way, and he felt like I need to support them. So he came out early because he knew he was good enough to make a practice squad, which was still a 6-figure salary, and he could help out his family.
Yeah.
Right? So those things are real. I understand that. But now in this day and age of NIL.
I mean, Maason Smith's making more than that guy.
Without question. Maason Smith made more this year, and I don't even know what his number is. I can almost in absolutes. Speaking like a Sith here, T-Bob.
Yeah.
He made more money this year in NIL than he'll make in his rookie contract as far as base salary.
God, that's so wild, man. It's so wild. And to me, this is one of the worst ancillary effects of the disaster that was the 2023 defense. That you had Mekhi Wingo and Maason Smith, who should be returning. And especially in Wingo's case, I think Wingo really wanted to return. There just wasn't enough of a visible plan that they could at least talk about with him. The timing of it stretched out too long. Too much frustration had already built up to the point. You saw the video after the bowl game where there wasn't happiness there. There was only like, F this, I'm out. So yeah, it's kind of like the zombie, the zombie kind of, it's the villain in the movie popping up for one more shot. Right, they get one more kill in, one more bite, one more shot before going away, and that now you lose 2 guys that should be returning, and you have a defensive line group. Who do we have, Taylor? I'm sure you're. I meant to look it up before the show, but off the top of my head, you obviously have McKinley coming in. Is Guillory still there?
Yeah, Guillory has another year. You got Relaford coming in, who you flipped.
Yep.
I mean, after that, what do you have?
Jordan Jefferson's gone.
You got Jalen Lee. You got Jalen Lee.
Yeah, you got Jalen Lee.
No, literally all you got is Jalen Lee, Guillory, and is that it on the roster?
I know that they're in on some defensive tackles in the transfer portal.
Yeah, better be.
I mean, they were before any of this actually news. Even before Wingo came out, I knew they were in on some defensive tackles. Now you got to close those defensive tackles. You can't just be in on them.
No, yeah, you gotta.
You are thin at a position that you weren't good at last year. And again, a lot of different factors play into it. Injuries, coaching. We all know that. You're thin. T-Bob, you can't be thin at defensive tackle
not in the SEC, dog. No, not if you want to accomplish your goals. Blake Baker. But I mean, look, this is also one of the reasons why you hired Baker. He's a really good recruiter. And so he has to. And unfortunately, when you're the highest paid coordinator, even though not having interior defensive linemen is really impactful when trying to put together a defense, it doesn't matter. You still got to turn in the result. So right, they got to find a way.
So you got Fitzgerald West, who you moved back to defensive tackle. He's kind of been
isn't he in the portal?
Yeah, he hadn't went anywhere yet,
right,
so you couldn't get him back with Baker coming in. So, he's still up in the air. You have Jalen Lee, Tyjee Hill already left you.
Yep.
You have Guillory. Now, you got Parashan coming back. He's 6'5", 280.
Parashan's not an interior guy.
I know, but it's just. I guess
it's
bare
you
on the defensive tackle.
That's what I'm saying. No. So that's the point.
That's the whole point.
That's the point. I'm saying the true. You have 2.
Yeah, you have two true.
You have 2 true interior defensive linemen right now.
Maybe try to.
Yeah,
bump
that's
down,
what I'm saying. That's crazy. That ain't good, boys. It's not like you, because thank God for the portal, right?
Well, you got guys
it giveth
coming
and
in,
taketh
yeah.
away.
You got
right?
guys coming in.
Yeah, but you don't
those-
want to rely on freshmen.
You got Sean Washington coming in from Georgia. He's kind of your transfer portal defensive
Junior
tackle.
college.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
there
so
you go.
You got guys coming. He went Georgia, then JUCO. Now he's back at LSU. So he's played some college
I
ball.
haven't heard that in a
Remember
long
what
time.
junior college is? Pearl, Mississippi. Can I talk? Look, I'm in the portal. Not like me. I'm done with eligibility, but I'm looking at it right now, and all these guys are committed somewhere. T. I mean, even Hill, who LSU lost, he's already committed to Oregon State. All the top guys, they're already committed somewhere. You have a couple of names out there. You've got
You're gonna have to
some
catch
3-star guys from Jacksonville State and Texas Tech.
You're gonna have to catch that springtime runoff. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.